Hello! Hi, everyone. Hi. Let's get into this. I'm getting to work today, so this will be shorter and not one of those like 3 hours long videos that starts with, this is going to not be as long, and then it's that long. I'm going to do a self reading today just to check in with me, I guess. With us. Oh, there's the Emperor. Yeah, so I'm going to do the Celtic Cross style. Every time I do this, I kind of sort of forget. So, I'm not going to do the outcome because I don't do those anymore. I don't know, especially for me, myself personally. I'm just like, all the behind the scenes stuff or the other stuff, yeah, the outcome, let's leave that up to life experience, shall we? So it's going to be past, present, future, obstacle, underlying, overlying, me, environment, hopes and fears. And that'll be it. Hopefully it won't take too long. I'm just gonna shuffle these up and then pull off the top when I feel like it's go time. And I think I'm gonna use the Ascendant edition of the Weaver Tarot for Scorpio season, because why not, you know? Alright, 3 more. And then I'll do a cut. A 2 cut. Just cut it right in half and get going. Get going and get going. Oh, so much stuff to do. Okay. So current energy is the 6 of Wands. I like that. I like that. The 6 of Wands is my overall energy for 2020 off of months. I did a month by month spread, and then I did a sign or season by season spread. So for the month of October, my card was Death in Reverse, the back of Death in Reverse, which we saw recently as that rebirth. And for the month of November, my card is the Empress, and then for Scorpio season, my card is the Magician. So definitely a time of all of the stuff that I've been working towards this year beginning to come into fruition. So we're starting with the space of victory. Successfully having navigated the challenges in the past, not only navigating the challenges, but being aware of the things within myself that I need to be aware of when it comes to facing both obstacles and blessings. So crossing this is temperance. And for me, this kind of sort of feels like procrastination. It could be. But that's just me knowing me. Temperance being the obstacle could also be either losing steam or, and I saw temperance in a read last night, and it was like not feeling like I'm healed enough. And I think it may also be that because I've been talking a lot about how I am consciously trying to not self-sabotage anything, because I know that a lot of stuff is already happening. Like this week, Thursday, it kicks off. So I'm like, ooh, oh gosh. And I haven't really made any progress on my schoolwork because I've just been too tired and headachy for the past like week and a half to 2 weeks. And so it's kind of sort of all going to be happening at the same time. But I've had a lot of rest, so that's fine. But it's been coming to me lately that like I feel like if I'm too hyper vigilant or if I'm too focused on not self-sabotaging, then I might self-sabotage in some way. So temperance being the obstacle, it's about just flowing with it and releasing stuff. And that's what I'm really trying to do this Scorpio season. Not hang on to anything too tightly because I don't know what I'm coming into. And I was sitting on the porch today and I got this energy of this collective sort of rebalancing. Based on what serves us and what doesn't serve us, but also based on what we choose to allow into our experience. And so, for whatever is being cycled out of our lives right now, something else will be cycled in. And for something to be cycled into our lives right now, there needs to be room for it at the same time. Or we have to be in a position where we make room for it, right? Because we make time for the things that are important to us. And so that's another thing that I'm doing right now is being really clear on what's important to me and not being so busy or so caught up in what I think is going to get me to where I want to go that I miss out on something that is actually for me. So everything is kind of loose right now, and we're letting go of all of the control issues. And I feel like I don't have control issues, but I might. I got a lot of. I'm a Taurus moon and rising, so And it's not like it's just that I don't necessarily like entering a space. Well, it's not necessary. Yeah, kind of. I don't like entering a space where I don't know what's happening because if I want to leave, I want to be able to leave. If I want to, tuck tail and run away, I want to be able to tuck tail and run away. But moving forward in the Six of Wands energy, it's to stand strong in this. And that's why I feel like this, that's why I originally went with losing steam because with Temperance, it's like whatever is under it, keeping that up or balancing that with something else. Past energy is the Two of Wands, which was a lot of indecision. It was a lot of, I don't know if I should go this way or that way. And it isn't necessarily to be fixed either way. I think it's to be open to the journey. It's to be open to being led wherever it is that I'm going. Underlying is the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles being that space of transition. And in this space of transition, everything is sort of mutable. So it's not really a time to be extremely fixed on things that are concrete. It's more the time to have like a plan with lots of contingency plans or a plan that's flexible enough, dynamic enough to allow whatever's going to happen. Overlying energy is the Nine of Pentacles, which is beautiful. To have the Ace of Pentacles like underlying and the Nine of Pentacles overlying, that's gorgeous because this is really making a foothold in this new set of experiences that I'm creating for myself and that I'm being led to create for myself and that I'm open to. I feel like this Nine of Pentacles here is about self-confidence, self-love, and being self-assured. And maybe that's another thing here. Maybe I'm being called to a certain position where I don't feel so rock solid. And it's for me to keep in mind that everything that I need, I have. And I am enough as I am. I'm actually more than enough, but it's fine. And it's to really prove it. Also to reach and attain some sort of stability, because we ain't really had stability financially in a hot minute, but that's also coming in. The future here is the Page of Swords. Let's look at the page in this deck. She's got this super thin sword, or they have this super thin sword. It looked like the hat has blown off of the page. It looks super windy. Ooh, this page's stance looks wrong AF. There is just, but they look determined. The stance is rocky. The sword is super thin. I mean, a thin sword ain't a bad thing, because if it's sharp, it'll cut just like anything else. And sometimes it's the thin swords you actually have to look out for because you can't see the blade. So things are looking a little bit windy and precarious right now, but the figure in the card is looking, if you can see their facial expression, maybe. Oof, I feel like that is not focused, but it's fine. It's looking real interesting. And maybe that's why it's... But I talked about that, didn't I? Maybe being in a situation where I'm not quite as solid as I want to be. But standing strong regardless, because it is brand new. It's very Aksunade for me. And Sagittarius season for me is the Tower card. So I go from the Magician to the Tower. And oh, that's a lot of people who born tomorrow. That's three. Oh, David is a Scorpio. I should have known that. I should have known. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, I should have. I don't know why I want to shuffle these, but I'm not. I feel like that's the Akasunare. Because Scorpio, our Sagittarius season is when everything finishes, especially the end of Sagittarius season. That's when my coursework will be complete. So I'll have my degree. This other program that I'm participating in is going to go live. Other things should be figured out, and that'll be about the time where I move out to establish the stability and for all of the things within me that I have that nervousness around and that I've had that nervousness around. It's not that it's necessarily gone anywhere, but it's that I'm solid enough within self to no longer sabotage these, because that was also another past energy for me, having like these thoughts, these ideas, these breakthroughs, these opportunities, and then one part of me wanting to take it because it's what I want, but another part of me being so afraid of what could happen that it would put me or leave me in this state of internal conflict, to the point where sometimes not making a decision is a decision, and I would procrastinate to the point where I would lose the opportunity, or time would pass me by, or I would just not take it. And so everything that I'm coming into is new for me. Um, but that's why I've been approaching my work the way I've been approaching it since my darkest night, October 2018, because that was my pattern. I get this opportunity, I come to this completion, and then I freak out and I sabotage and I don't get it. And I was like, I can't continue to do this because I actually want to move forward with my life. Um, and so that's one reason why I've been so intent on everything. And that's another reason why, as I'm coming to this completion, into this rebirth, and into this new chapter, I'm trying to be cognizant of how I keep myself from things that I want. So me, Lolo, me is sitting in the space of this King of Wands, and this is real interesting. This is really interesting because it was like a year ago, maybe. No, it was, I think, was it a year ago? I think it was like last summer, maybe. I started getting like the King of Wands popping out all over the place, and I was like, I am not a King of Wands. Patrick could be a king of a lot of things. Wands, no. But if anything since June has taught me anything, it's that, I can be a King of Wands, and I need to be a King of Wands if I'm to do what it is that I'm supposed to do. And it's also interesting that this King of Wands is actually a woman. She's a woman. Why is that interesting? Because for me, when it comes to leadership or authority, I've always seen it in a certain type of way. And when the North Node was in Leo, and this is a Leo card, I was an RA, and I had my first like supervisory slash managerial type of role. And when I was an RA, that's when I discovered that I didn't have to be super authoritarian and strict and non-empathetic and stuff like that in order to be a good leader. I discovered that I could be a good leader exactly as I am, and I don't need to change anything about myself. And that experience actually opened me up to seeking opportunities that I never thought that I would have sought, like that supervisory slash managerial role, because I always thought I wasn't necessarily cut out for it, right? I was like, oh, I'm too nice for that, and I don't like yelling at people. Like, I don't want to be like that. If I could not be like that, I'd rather not be like that. Um, and so, but after that RA job, I was like, oh, well, now like, I want to get more roles like this so I can develop my leadership style. Basically, so I can get comfortable in being me. And maybe that's another thing that this is about, or it's something that's been running behind the scenes this year for a lot of people. But one that I've been very sort of vocal about, I guess, kind of. Us being comfortable being us. And another thing that I thought about on the porch was that Hierophant energy, because that's, I guess, everything that's coming out now. And it's like, before the Hierophant, there's the conscience. So there's already something within us that lets us know right from wrong. We already have that part in us that guides us. And so we don't really need something outside of ourselves to say this is right and this is wrong. And sometimes it hurts more than it helps. When hierophants are responsible for justice and they're selective with that justice, then we can do things that are wrong, but according to the system, they're not, or they're not as wrong as some other things. And so then it leads us to doing all kinds of things, and we go all kinds of places that we ain't even gotta go. It's not about all that. But it's about what's inside and being guided and led by that. And the environment is the Eight of Pentacles, which is the bane of Patrick's existence. We're rewriting the story. We're rewriting the story. That is no longer my narrative. I do what I need to do to get where I need to be because I love me enough to do it. And it doesn't matter how hard it is or how much it sucks. If it's what I have to do for me, I'll do it, because if I had to do it for someone else, I would. But with the Eight of Pentacles in this deck, I feel like one by one, because we see the ace right here. I feel like one by one, those pentacles that I've been drawing are going to become real. And then the hopes and fears is the Hermit. The Hermit for the hopes and fears is interesting, because I don't necessarily fear being alone. I'm the type of person, I'd rather be by myself than be surrounded by people who I don't like or people who aren't that great. And it's not that, okay, let me revise that. I'd rather be alone than to be in a situation or environment that doesn't serve me. Because there are things with this Eight of Pentacles, there are things that are going to require all of the work that I've been doing. Just like there are things for everyone else that is going to require the work that they've had the opportunity to do. And I've tried to do it as best as I can. And with the King of Wands coming out as the me, I feel like I've done a decent job. Bottom of the deck is Strength. And I love this. This is the wateriest strength card I've ever seen, and I love it. There's that orca in the back. It's these Atlantean vibes. It takes me back to this King of Wands when I was talking about how, like, I'm not necessarily extremely, like, fiery or strict when I'm in a leadership position. And then here's this strength that is based in the emotions, basically. And I feel like I didn't really get into that Hermit too much, but let me pull an Energy Oracle card, just one, to wrap this all up, because I love those cards. With the hopes and the fears being the Hermit, I guess I hoped to connect to that deepest part of myself. And I feel like there's not a lot that I fear right now, honestly. Like, I don't fear this or that not working out, because I know that whatever's supposed to work out will and whatever isn't won't. I'm not afraid of being alone. I think in the past, I'm also reaching this point where, like I said, if something isn't growing me anymore, then I have to let it go. Because in my environment is continuously pushing me to grow and evolve and change and heal. And so I guess I hope that I come into me, basically. That I get all that good stuff that lies on the inside. That's my hope. That's my hope, that I have that deep reconnection with self. Can I get one Energy Oracle, please? Oh, there it is. Bottom of the deck is the Goddess and the Moon. Goddess of the Moon. Goddess of the Moon is all about following your intuition and being led in exactly the way that you need to be led. And it's the moon. So it's not supposed to be seen, but that's why we have intuition. And I've also been very conscious of, since last year, separating my intuition from my worry, from my anxiety, from my depression, from everything else. And I've also recognized that it seems like most times my intuition at least leads me to things that I'm not comfortable with, because the Eight of Pentacles is in the environment. Because I got to grow and I got to keep working. The card that came out is the man holding a heart. Ah, the man holding a heart with the goddess of the moon. It's going to happen. That's why I'm just like, at this point, it's not that I can't be bothered. It's just that I'm not worried anymore. I feel like the divine has proved itself to me too much for me to continue to worry. And honestly, right now, I'm just trying to stay in my own lane. And by staying in my own lane, I'm trying to stay in this mode that's authentic to me. And I know that I'm naturally a giver. I probably give way too much. And I am way more excited to give to other people than I am to give to myself, which I am working on. Which I have been working on since March, honestly. And I feel like sometimes when we find ourselves burned in certain situations, we have this tendency to recoil and to be like, well, I'm never going to give to anybody ever again. But that's not who I am. And so it's just for me to learn to give more reciprocally, right? To not overgive or overextend, to also give to myself, like I said, and to not allow 1 or 2 or 3 or 500 bad experiences, or experiences that didn't work out the way that I wanted them to work out. I like that a lot better. To put me in a position where I'm not being me. And there are some other ways that I am as well, right? We all got light and shadow. So this was kind of beautiful. I'm going to take a picture of this so I can keep it in my it's 12:12 on the clock right now. Kind of sort of been seeing angel numbers quite a bit lately, honestly. Not gonna lie, those repeating numbers, they've been popping up a lot lately. But I'm gonna save that for my records. But this is beautiful, because it's going exactly where I want it to go. And it's going where, just gotta not freak out and sabotage. I'm not gonna do it, because like I said, I feel like it's getting to the point where white bear, I think I talked about it yesterday, where it's like when you try not to think a thought, then you think it, right? So I don't want to put the energy of self-sabotage out there so heavy, even like me not doing it, that it ends up happening. Because right now with the goddess of the moon, it's all about flowing into this space. And that's another thing that the Page of Swords is able to do, because it enters a situation with no pretense. It's able to, like, the wind is blowing because it knocked this person's hat off. There are clouds in the back. There's some other stuff here. His stance is not the sturdiest, but they haven't fallen over. They still stand strong and determined. And the stance might actually, no, I don't think it's right. But what do I know? But they're able to enter a situation and to experience it for all that it is, because they don't have that pretense. It's all I got to do is stay true to me. And that's the Sage of Souls, King of Wands energy. It's the one who has done this, who has connected to the source of the spark of who they are. And now it's about navigating the environment with this energy. And that's the work that requires, but it's also going to be the things that turns these paper pentacles into actual coins. So that's what I got for me. I always do a final message, so I think this is the shortest video I've ever done. What time am I at right now? Ooh, it ain't even been half an hour. Wait, look at me. Excuse me, let's go. Because Yeah. Ooh, I remember when I was doing personals for people. I was like, man, this is 1 hour to 2 hours long. Goodness. The High Priestess and the Queen of Swords. Ooh. And they're both black and white. Are they illustrated by the same person? They are not. One is Polyphay. The other is Marco Prieto. Or Prieto, I don't know. Poi, Poitou. They're both black and white. So, final card message from the Pride Tale. I love these cards. I love like all of my decks besides the Mystic Mondays. Maybe that's why there's cards missing. I'm playing. They'll come around because I didn't really like the Witch's Tarot when I first got them, but now I love them. It just it takes time sometimes. Oh, come on. Well, that's a whole bunch, but I just saw the Queen of Pentacles. I'm only taking like 3 at the most because I'm really not trying to be here all day because I do have other things to do. Okay, okay. Alright, I'll give you 5 more and then I'm picking. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Final one. Bottom of the deck is Judgment. And I love Judgment in this deck because Judgment in this deck is we don't have to die to live. This is the judgment that occurs. This ain't like corpses rising out of the grave. It's Judgment Day. The dead are coming back to life and we're all being judged. No, like they're alive. They're fully clothed. And then there's a poet, Sappho, which is about, she's a poet of like love and stuff. I think it's typically lesbian love. But we don't have to die to live type of energy. And I love that in this deck. And then here's the 7 of Wands, which is coming off of that 6 of Wands, but moving forward with a sort of defiance, but also humility. Because we can lose it all at any point, honestly. But I say it's more defiance. Moving defiantly forward in a way that brings all of that to the now. There's contract. Love that contract card. I've been trying to fulfill my contracts. I'm like, I'm doing everything I need to learn. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, there's Michael. Hey, Mike, what's it? Michael with Happy Family. Happy Family with that Judgment card. Yes. With the man holding a heart. Yes. All tied up. Michael cutting that loose. Michael will set you free. I remember in March, I was like, oh, Michael, why did this happen? Like, why? Why? For why? And now I'm like, okay, thanks. Love that. This year hasn't necessarily been easy, but the growth this year, sis. Yes, I'm loving it. Angel of Love. With community at the bottom of the deck. Community and Angel of Love. I feel like that's that rebalancing energy that I was talking about. For the things that get cycled out and then the things that get cycled in. Some of these things we have to make room for. And another thing that I'm being conscious of right now is that I don't repeat past cycles. And I can already see myself heading down a path that I've already been down before. And I'm like, whoa, hold up, wait, nope. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again because I already know how this ends. So now I'm going to do all the stuff that I know I need to do for me. Which is like basic, which is the majority of that is to do for me what I need to do for me and not to be so quick to do everything for everybody else. And I've literally been talking about that since what, April? And we're still learning. We're doing now. We're doing now. Because, I was procrastinating before. But it's fine. That's what I got for me. If y'all found resonance in this, or whatever, then yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll do this like once a month or something. Who knows? I'll catch y'all later. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make the best possible case, or at least the better scenarios, your reality, because we're in this space right now of transition. And in a space of transition, nothing is necessarily clear or set in stone. But with our own chisel, we carve into stone what it is that we want. And if you write it on a piece of paper, the winds of change might blow it away. I don't know. All right.